on to this one. This one's much more simpler. I always try and make the second game more simpler than the first. But yes, so let's move on to the next game. All right, let's take a look. Attachment on top, not my favorite move here. So the idea is that you have two of your stones.
Yeah.
And when you play something like this actually helps you get split apart. So if you get split apart here, then white's going to get a good advantage in this area.
Yes.
Now, mind you, this move actually helps you get split apart too, but this helps you kind of make a base. And this is what this move is kind of about. So if we look at what the computer suggests for white, so the computer suggests this move, which makes sense. I was having trouble figuring out, like, I was like, I don't like the kick because it helps separate these guys.
The kick looked terrible.
Which it was. Yep. The one jump, it looks fine. But it's not my favorite. This
So
step,
knight's move.
yeah, the knight's move is too over concentrated, right? This
Oh,
is
sorry,
over.
the other knight's move. That's what
Oh,
the
yes, yes. So this move is like pincering this.
yeah.
And so if he jumps into the corner, then you can connect to your stones, right? You can, whatever he does, if he does the old school way, this way, or the modern way, either way, you get to connect to your stones, right? And you make a big wall. And this becomes really flat, right? And so this pincer is really nice against this stone.
Okay.
Like I said, the computer would not play in the corner. The computer would jump out this way, and then you would push and connect, and then this group is just coming out, right? Which if it gets out, then it can counterattack these.
Yeah.
So that's what white's trying to accomplish with this move. But this move, just understand that white's almost 100% gonna Hane here.
Yep.
And then you got to protect yourself. And then white generally gets stronger, right? No matter what white chooses, white generally gets stronger here, which is going to make this stone weaker, in my opinion. Which something like this happens, right? He plays an odd, Tanuki. And you play here. And then you strengthen yourself. And he strengthens himself. And so this is where shapes start to come into play. Very simple shapes. With this, which side is weaker, right? A or B?
B.
And so B is the group that we need to play on, right? We should play with our weak group. We don't have to play on our strong group. So this is generally a good shape move, but this is a good shape move too. And this does two things, right? It hurts white, it breaks the tiger's mouth, and it strengthens you significantly on your weak side.
Yeah.
So once again, in both games, we talk about helping our weaker side. This case is definitely that you should break this tiger's mouth here. I see why you played it. This is always usually very good. But when we're looking at both groups, this one is the one who needs help more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It also prevents you from getting hit on the head of two stones, because that's exactly what happens.
Right.
You get hit on the head.
Right.
So these stones become even more weaker, and these stones got better shape.
Yeah.
So white comes out, and not once again, but the idea is that these two stones are actually fairly weak still. And with white's wall here, this makes these stones weaker. So it's not a good idea to Hane when you're weak, because now you get into a bad fight or complicated fights. And white now has one somewhat strong group that needs to get out, right? It has a lot of liberties. That's why I'm saying it's strong. And you have two weak groups that don't have liberties. And so he has many options to batter you around, right? In which he does. So in this instance, playing this would have been the computer move. Playing this would have been my move. In both cases, we are working to strengthen this group.
Yes.
But in this case, this is overly aggressive, and it allows too many cuts, and he has too many friends. So you're very weak in this area.
Yeah.
You're both weak, but he just has more liberties than you do. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so this was good for white. And then once again, this group is the weaker group, right? This
Yeah,
move is one move away from dying.
yeah.
And so I think it's a little unreasonable to try and save this.
Hmm.
Maybe not. Because you have four liberties. White has one, two, three, four, five, maybe six you could count. So I think the computer liked this move.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it did. And the reason being is because even if white takes the two stones, you can now connect here. And so
Yes.
now your corner doesn't really have any aji, and you have saved your stones. And
Yeah,
so even though white got to live, this is very small for white and very big for black.
yeah.
So this move is really nice. I don't know. Would I have found it? I'm not sure. Maybe I would have played here. Maybe I would have played this, depending on how I feel. Some games I'm like overly aggressive. In some games you see I play very calmly, right? And so this is a very calm move. This is a very aggressive move. But both cases, this is the weak side. So
Yeah.
we need to strengthen it. And
Right.
instead you strengthen the strong side, which is
Right.
wrong. It's a
Yeah.
very it's a principle that we got to work on. But yeah, once white plays here, now he gets the first move compared to you getting the first move.
Yep. Yep.
So now you're in lots of danger. I think this dies if I remember right.
I think so.
So this one was strange to me just because it's already cut. I see where you
Mm.
were going with this. You're trying to cut to the knight's move,
Yeah.
right? And so you didn't cut the knight's move. But I think any of these moves would have been better. Because we see like how is white gonna connect, right, to this group.
Yeah.
So if we use this as a sacrifice stone, right? This is the infamous shape, right? This
Yep.
is the
Yep.
we can Atari push through, and now these stones are dead. So you just get a humongous corner,
Yeah.
and that's mainly the use of this sacrifice is to Atari on this side and then kill these stones.
So could you just back up to before number one? Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is a shape point for the three
Yep.
stones, right?
Yep. Let's
And
see.
you can see it's doing quite a lot.
Yep.
The other way is the Dwyron way, right? Stay calm and just stay connected. And you
Yeah.
can see once you connect this group, you can still continue to attack this as a whole.
Yes.
So white will connect to itself, and then
Yeah.
you don't even have to worry because he's not making any territory here.
Yeah.
And so you can find ways to make territory elsewhere, which is to attack this group.
Yeah.
And then he'll jump, he'll surround these three stones, and you don't even care if these three stones die, right? Is if you get this whole area and just lose 6 points, then
Yeah.
you got the better of the exchanges.
Right. Right.
Um, so the idea is if you want to play calm and safe, this connection is really nice, right? This is
Yeah.
a very nice connection. If you want to play to kill something, you can still attack the knight's move, but in a better manner, right? And then this one is the ugly knight's move attack because generally you're not, how should I put it? It's like a weird diagonal one, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah.
cutting
Yeah.
across the hip as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's mainly it for this. I don't think this was, you got a decent result actually for this, better than I thought you would. Because you had to make an empty triangle and this looks kind of bad. But still I wanted to show you, these options, right?
Those are way better.
Playing
Yeah.
calm and connected works really
Yeah.
well, especially at your level.
Yeah.
And then this was something fun. But you got a great result for this, and I don't think you should have gotten as good as a result. So that means white probably messed up here somewhere. Um, but yeah, black got a really good result here.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw on the computer there's some way to kill everything.
yeah, there is some way to kill everything. Um, Even without killing everything, this is the free move you need to take.
Yeah,
100%, it is Sente free and
yeah,
connects your groups in good
yeah,
shape.
yeah.
So this needed to be played. I don't see any other move on the board that like is so urgent. Um, and then you have to think about your weak group, right? This is the
Yes,
weakest
yes,
group.
yep.
So now you just strengthen it and you have friends to come out, or you can kill this stone, right? So you have two ways to come out. So this is group is worth saving. So this is kind of the order you needed to do things. You
Yeah,
needed to take the free move and then come out.
yeah.
Instead, you played this way, which allows white to disconnect you, right? Because this would be a bad move.
Oh yeah.
And so you jumped out. But now I put this marker, which I think is more aggressive against this stone. Like if he tries to cut you, right, you're just fine here.
Yep.
And if he plays to strengthen himself, then you can make better shape, right? You can make better shape here.
Yes. Yes.
So this would be more aggressive against the stone, which in this case I think is very good. This one is very relaxed against the stone, so it doesn't put much pressure on it.
Okay.
Um, so here you made a table shape. This was
Yeah.
good.
Happy.
Here you played a move that took away one of your liberties. I do see that it's cutting this, but
Yeah.
first you should take this free move,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then if you want, maybe you could try this now, but I would still worry about this group because it is
Yeah.
still fairly weak. So
Yeah.
even just coming down here is very aggressive against these two stones, and it's giving
Yes.
you more safety.
Yeah.
But by playing this right now, you're not safe yet. And so you're making yourself more not safe by losing this liberty.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does indeed.
Yeah, one thing that I guess we're seeing a theme is that you weren't helping your weak stones as much as you should, right? Your weak groups you weren't helping as much.
Yeah.
Um, so this move is getting a little worrisome because now white can actually cut you apart here.
Yeah. Yeah.
If white, well, there's a few
And he
ways to go
does.
about it.
He does.
Yeah, there's a few ways to go about it. We'll see how it happens in the game, but
Yeah.
generally it's kind of like this. Like he has to make two
Yeah. Yeah.
moves here, and then if you take one, then he can protect the other one, right?
Yeah.
It's something like that. Maybe it comes up a little later when white
Yeah.
gets one more protection, but the idea is that this move is starting to get worrisome, right? Because he can hit you on the head of three stones.
Yeah.
Even if he just plays this breaks your tiger's mouth,
Yeah.
creates a weakness, and saves his group.
Yeah.
So this free move really just keeps screaming at me right the whole time. And now
Yeah.
this is the kill that it's talking about. You'll see it later. But I'll show you. So I think it's here now. I was showing you. So for black, this is not a good move here. It is a table shape and looks good, but the problem is if white's safe here and white's safe here, then he can cut you.
Yes.
So I think I played like a lot of different variations to see how this would work. So if white plays here and white plays here, now there's like this double Atari thing type going
Yep.
on.
Yep. Yep.
And even if white just cuts you here, you can see now as long as white lives with these stones, these are gonna die.
Yep.
So there was lots of cuts, and he does play one, right? He plays one right away, which is good for
Yep.
him. It was good on his eyes.
Yeah.
So one thing we have to remember, and I think I covered this in the shape video about one jumps, is
No,
that if
I know this.
yeah, if white's strong on both sides, then you have to worry about these cuts.
Yeah.
So that's what happened in the game. You got cut and you were able to come out, but now this group dies, and so you suffer so much here.
Yeah.
And then white got this move to prevent it. Let's take a look at how this would work. I don't know where the variation went, but if I remember right, you Atari here and you play this, and
Yeah.
then what does white do, right? If white plays here, you connect, and if white plays here, you connect, right? Or
Yeah.
you actually play this move. Because if he cuts you here now, you can connect, and if he
Yeah.
cuts you here now, you can connect. And so
Yeah.
he can't make two eyes.
Yeah.
So taking this free move opens up this move. Yeah.
Uh, what a triumph that would have been.
I know it's hard to find. I don't think that this move is hard to find,
No,
right?
not at all. But I thought, well, I'll just give him an eye. What's the point?
Well, it keeps you connected in
Yeah.
Sente. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because without this, and he prevents this, right? Like he does in the game.
Yeah.
Now he's alive and you have a big weakness.
Yeah.
So that's what it does. Even
Yeah.
if it gives him
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
eye, yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
helps you.
Yeah.
So there's not much more. This is the shorter review of the two.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
last thing I guess I wanted to talk about. So I was really, I've never seen you play this way, so I was very shocked for you to do this. To me, you should headbutt these two stones, and if he tries to outreach, you can cut him off, right? This is very,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yep.
very
Yep.
easy to
Yep.
find the
Yep.
cutoff.
Yep. 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 Yep.
But I think maybe you were so frustrated in this game that you're just blindly like said, I'm gonna cut these two, right? But you already were cutting them.
Right. Right. Right.
So so now he gets a huge advantage on this side, which I
Yeah.
think really hurts you,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
in
No,
this
because
game.
they die right there. I mean,
Yeah.
that was really what was the end of the game.
Yeah. And so what you needed to do was play this move. And now you can see this is more aggressive against these.
Yeah.
And so this actually becomes a ko, I believe. Because if he plays this and this, well, this lives, but you get
Yeah.
Sente,
Yeah.
right? And so you can just easily kind of play
Yeah.
whatever you want after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So and
That was terrible.
I think I think I
Oh,
know
no,
you know this, yeah.
I do. I do.
Yeah. So any remembrance of why you might have played this? And when you did play it and he played here, did you feel bad?
I still didn't feel bad until I realized they were all going to die. Then I felt pretty bad.
Okay, fair enough. Um, so yeah. Remember that when you have this knight's move and he plays here, you get to headbutt him, and this is
Yeah.
very devastating against him.
Yeah.
This means
Yeah.
he's either gonna become a ko or he's gonna go into gote, which
Yeah.
is both are bad for white in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that is mainly it for these games, Marty. Uh,
Thank you, Michael.
I know it's a lot. I feel like by the end of the first review, you're a little drained. I can tell, and I get it because
And it's just the what if you stop recording?
yeah. All right, I'll end the recording here, but I hope this helps everybody else at home. And Marty, we'll keep working at it. We'll keep plugging away.
Yeah.